Today's episode is going to be brought to you by Smithburg Auto of Fairfield, Iowa, the Packwood Locker, and Henshaw Trailer Sales of Richland, Iowa. We've got Coach Swanson, but it's not Pekin's coach, it's Central East coach. I think there's plenty of Swanson's coaching. Welcome to the program, Coach.
Oh, thanks. Happy to be here.
Well, Central Lee Hawks have had an excellent season, and they've advanced a couple rounds in the playoff. But since it's the first time I talked to you, we're going to get to know you. Tell our listeners about your overall record of the season, maybe some wins that you were happy about, maybe a loss or two that was a little disappointing to you. I know you played some overtime games.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good year. We were 15-7 overall. Finished third in our Super Conference South at 9-5. We had some, like you said, we had some big wins. We had a big double overtime win over Holy Trinity. Beat them. We beat Fort Madison for the first time in several years. We beat West Burlington for the first time in several years. So a lot of these wins that we've had, we haven't been able to be competitive in some of these in the last few years. So we had a week where we were 5 games in 6 days, which is tough for anybody, and we were playing some really good teams. We started that week out with West Hancock over in Illinois, who's a state ranked 2A team, and we lost by 5 against them. And then next night we went to Meepo and had a lead for most of the game and kind of let it go there in the fourth quarter and lost a close one there. And then a couple nights later, it was the same thing. Went to West Burlington and played those guys and had a lead in the third quarter, fourth quarter, and kind of let that one slip away. Then we ended that week and had to go to Keokuk that Saturday, and we hung around for a little bit, but that team's tough. They're big and strong, and then they kind of handled us there late in that game. But so we've had a pretty good year overall, though.
All right. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the players that you have. One of the players, I have a nickname I like to call him. I call him Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah.
But Hayes, every time I talk to a coach, every time I look in the stats, this guy, not just this year, but the last year or two, has impressed everybody in the league. Tell us a little bit about this young man.
Yeah, so Will, he's one of our seniors, like you said. He's one of our senior leaders. He's 6'6", 6'7", whatever. And with most of those guys, you'd think just stick him down the post and let him go to work. But we're kind of lucky that we can move him around and put him in different spots. He likes to handle the ball a little bit, so we'll put him on ball screen actions. We'll have him post up. We'll do a lot of different things with him just to get him the ball. And so what a lot of teams do when he gets it in the post or whatever, they'll go and double, and he's a very willing passer, and he's pretty unselfish. Sometimes we have to get on him a little bit about being more selfish for us and look to score the ball a little bit more. But he's an all-around team player, team leader. He's had a really good couple years for us, and this year especially, has been leading us in scoring, leading us in rebounding, things like that. So we really appreciate having him. After that, we go with our seniors. Owen Swan, he's our other senior starter. I think he's been starting for darn near all 4 years, but he's more of a guard, can shoot the lights out of it, on any given night. And so he's always ready to shoot, and he's a really good leader for us. He's kind of taken more of a leadership role and doing some different things for us this year as far as playmaking and sharing the ball a little bit, rebounding, things like that, which we really appreciate. And then our sixth man off the bench, Ward Frazee, he's another senior. And, the great thing about Ward is on a lot of teams, he'd probably be a starter. But for us, he comes off the bench, and a lot of nights he gets starters minutes. He's a guard. But we kind of ask him to play a bunch of different roles. He'll come in and he'll guard a lot of teams' best players when he comes in the game. He doesn't back down from a challenge. He can make plays, shoot the three. He kind of does a little bit of everything too. And then our last senior, Brody Moeller, he's a big guy that comes off the bench. and he's a kid that has really good footwork, really good hands, and he's our energy guy on the bench. So he's a really good leader for us too, which we really appreciate.
All right. Well, let's talk about some of the juniors and then kind of work it down the line.
Yep.
Who are some of the juniors on your team that either contributed this year or potentially will contribute in their senior year?
Yeah, so we've got three junior starters. We're pretty blessed in the junior class right now, in all of our sports. And so, our two junior starters are three junior starters. Sorry, but Caden Swan, younger brother of Owen, he's our point guard. He's had a really good year coming out here. Him and then Carson Morrison, he's another junior guard. Both of those guys started last year as sophomores and have even taken a bigger step this year. Brett Cook. He came off the bench last year. He's 6'4" post player who we guard whether it's a post player or whoever. He knows that his job is to guard the best player every single night. So those three guys, they really take the challenge of whatever we throw at them, whether it's guard the best player, whether it's scoring the ball, things like that. So those three are really good players, and they'll return next year. And then another guy off the bench, Carver Hayes, not related to Will Hayes, but Carter Carver, sorry, he's a spark plug off the bench and shoots the ball really well. Comes in and brings really good ball pressure, which we always preach. So he'll be coming back next year. And then kind of moving down the list, we've got Blake Davis, Austin Fogarty, and Evan Fogarty as juniors who will be returning next year. And then our manager, due to injury, Gage Van Osdal, he'll be back too. So we're pretty loaded in the junior class. So we're excited about that group becoming seniors next year. And then we got three sophomores that come off that play a lot of JV: Tristan Robbins, Caden Newton, and Keegan Westfall. They sit on our varsity bench. They don't get a ton of playing time, but they all start JV, and we've had a pretty successful JV season. So we're looking for big things next year as well.
All right. You're playing a pretty tough Super Conference South. I mean, really tough. A lot of great teams probably prepared you very well for the playoffs. You got guys like Lane Rung, and you got guys like Max Griffin, and you got guys like Aiden Figueroa, and of course the Shea kid there, Shea Stevens. What did it do for your team this year to play quality teams and quality players like that night after night?
Oh yeah, I mean that's 100%. That tests you throughout the season and gets you ready for the postseason, which is exactly what we want, right? Our conference is loaded with stud players. You know, like you said, Chase Stevens going to Western Illinois, Max Griffin, Aiden Figueroa, Leighton Rung, those guys. I mean, those guys have been staples in this conference for several years now, and having to go against teams like that with really good coaches, and trying to find ways to win each night, that really tests you and prepares you for the postseason. And I kind of mentioned some of our non-conference games that we had this year. We had to go against Keokuk, who's got Jackson and Jalen Clark. We went against Fort Madison, who's got Nolan Guzman, who had 51 the other night. We played West Hancock, who they've got a 6'10" guy that's getting some Division One offers, and another 6'5" guy that's getting some Division One offers. So, I mean, we played a pretty loaded schedule, and we competed night in, night out, which that should prepare us for the rest of the year.
All right. Well, who did you play in the first round of the playoffs? Oh, Pekin, I think. Or no?
Well, Pekin was our
Yeah, the
shootout
Super
game.
Conference shootout, right?
Yep. We played West Burlington the other night, Thursday night at home.
But didn't you play a game in the first round too?
No, we
Oh, you
actually
got
got
the
a
bye.
bye.
Oh, excellent.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. We're the 2 seed, and so we got a bye.
All right. Well, that's terrific. Tell us a little bit. A terrific team. I think you split with them in the season. Tell us a little bit about that game and maybe some performances, some of your players that helped you come out on top on that one.
Yeah, so we played West Burlington. We beat them 44-39 at home the other night. We did split with them in the regular season, so this is the third time we've seen them, and our kids really wanted to get that one back. We thought we let one slip away the second time we played them this season. And West Burlington is a team that our program is pretty familiar with. We played them 3 times couple years ago. We played them 3 times last year. We played them 3 times this year. So the last 2 years, they ended our season. And this year, we were kind of fortunate to come out on top in the postseason and theirs, which was really, really nice. But some big contributors is our typical crew. Owen and Caden Swan had 11. Will Hayes had 10. And then Carson Morrison had 8, which those are the 4 leading scorers for most of our season. One guy that I would mention, Carver Hayes, I think he only played 3 or 4 minutes. He played late in the third, early in the fourth. He came in, and I think as soon as he came in, we gave up a 3, but he came right back and got a turnover, came down, hit a big 3 when we were only up 1, and put us up 4, which was a big shot. So, we always tell our kids, if you're coming off the bench, you gotta stay ready and give us a spark. And so that's what he did that night, which was great. But scoring was at a premium that night. We were lucky to start off 18-7 in the first quarter, and then we came back in the second quarter. West Burlington made some adjustments, and we put up a goose egg. We had 0. So they beat us in the second quarter 8-0, and we went to halftime 18-15, which is really low scoring. But then we kind of battled back and forth the rest of the way. We never surrendered the lead, and kind of kept it close with them, and they never went away. So it was a barn burner that night, and we were just lucky that we got away with the win.
Well, sound like a hard fought win, for sure. In the game that I did get to see you play, you did play peak in there, and it just seemed like, I guess the difference in that game was rebounding. You seemed to not give them very few or almost no second chances. You had a height advantage on them, and I think you clearly probably made the difference in that game was your rebounding. Who are your good rebounders, and is that a big part of your game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we preach, boxing out, going to get the ball, 5 guys going to get it. And so, but our big rebounders, first and foremost, would be Will Hayes. He's grabbing over 7 rebounds a game. He's a big man in the middle that we kind of get on a lot. Like, hey, you've got to be the guy that goes and gets it, right? And so he uses his size to his advantage, especially that night. And then our second rebounder, Brett Cook, I think he's a little over 5 a game. And then Caden Swan, he's our point guard, but he rebounds about a little over 4 a game. So those are our top 3 guys, but we ask all of our guys to pitch in on that effort and get some offensive rebounds to give us second chance points and defensive rebounds, obviously, keep the other team off the glass.
Well, tell me a little bit about your assists or passing. Who kind of leads the way in distributing the ball for you?
Yeah, so our top 3 assist guys would be Caden Swan, Owen Swan, and our 6th man, Ward Frazee. All 3 of those guys, they distribute the ball pretty well and get downhill and we try to draw 2 defenders and give it up to the next guy and create a big advantage for the next guy for an opportunity to score. And so those 3 we have those 3 especially are unselfish, but our whole team is unselfish and willing to, do what it takes to score the ball, give it up to a teammate, celebrate our teammates' accomplishments, celebrate our teammates' scoring. So that's what it's all about.
Well, tell me a little bit about your scoring leaders.
Yep. So our top scorer is Will Hayes at 13 a game. And then our second leading scorer would be Carson Morrison at just under 12 a game. And then we've got Caden and Owen right there, both at 9 a game. And then from there, we kind of get into, let's see, Brett scoring 4, Ward scoring 3, Carver scoring 4. So we've got 4 guys that are right there, right around double figures. We don't have any guy that's, scoring 20, 30 a night like some of these teams, but we've got some pretty consistent scorers.
Sounds like this Sound like the scoring is well distributed across the board there. Well, did anybody have a great game or approach a record or something this year, or 1,000 points, or any of those type of things people keep track of?
Yeah, so no 1,000 point scores this year, but big games we've had. Let's see, the first one that I think of is Carson Morrison had 6 threes and a half. We went to John Wood Community College down in Quincy, Illinois, and played a really good Clopton, Missouri team, and which it was nice to play a non-conference team that doesn't know all of your plays and it doesn't scout you super well, but he was able to have he had the hot hand that night, had 6 threes, ended up with 28 points. And so that was a big game for him. Other than that, we had, let's see, we only had a handful of 20-point games. I think Will had one against Mediapolis early on in the season. Caden Swan had one recently against Davis County. But like you said, for the most part, our scoring has been pretty balanced, and no one guy dominates the ball, which I think is a kind of a superpower for us because it makes us a little tougher to scout. And we don't necessarily have a best player on any given night. Could be any of our guys. So
Well, you're in a unique part of the state there where you can play some teams from Illinois and some teams from Missouri, and a lot of you guys do that. Do you think maybe playing those different in those different states against those different styles, do you think that can help be a plus in the playoffs for you?
oh yeah, that's 100%. I mean, most teams know, or most coaches know that, going over to Illinois, you're going to get a different style of basketball. For one, there's no shot clock, which it can be slower paced, but I don't necessarily think that plays a factor until maybe the last 3 minutes of the game or last couple of minutes of a quarter or something like that, because most positions aren't going 35 seconds anyway. But the physicality plays a major difference. So going over there, we went over there and we were playing physical as heck. It took us a minute to adjust a little bit, but you know getting that opportunity to go play a really good team like that, like I said, they've got a guy that's 6'10", 6'5", couple Division I, Division II offers that are, and so they're a pretty loaded team. And so to go there and compete and play with some different kind of officiating and different style of basketball, that was always good.
Well, tell me, you got a game Tuesday night, I think, a 7 o'clock game.
Yep.
Who are you playing and where is the game?
Yep. So we're playing Iowa City-Regina at Iowa City, or at their place at Regina. So that's gonna be a tough team to play. We play on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. So going up there, looking forward to playing that team.
So you haven't played them at all. Do you have a common opponent or anything over the year?
I was looking. I don't think we do have a common opponent. I was looking at some of the teams that they played that kind of kept it close with them, but they're 20-1. So the only team that beat them was Solon, and that's a really good team up there. But I was kind of looking at some of the teams that they play, and I don't think I saw one that we have that's a common opponent. But I've been watching them play once, and I've been watching some film on them, and they're a really solid team, really well coached. A lot of big guys, strong guys, tall guys. So we're gonna have our work cut out for us, but I think our guys will be ready for the challenge.
I think they play in that. I think it's called the River Valley Conference there, with great schools like Mid Prairie and Wilton, and I think
Yep.
Comanche and a bunch of
Yeah, that's
schools
a
like
loaded
that. So
conference.
they also play some pretty good teams, fairly equal to what you guys play over the year too. So they're probably pretty prepared. Well, you've had a chance to look at them. What are you seeing out of them? What do they do that could give you some trouble, and what do you guys do well that might match up with some of the stuff that they do?
Well, one thing that they do, like they play, like you said, they play in a really loaded conference. They play a lot of good teams up there, and so, but one thing that they do really well offensively is they kind of just beat Jaden up to the post a little bit. They've got, I think all their starters are over 6 foot, but they have a sophomore Ben Wade who's 6'9". Tate Wallace, their leading scorer. He's like 6'3", big strong guy. Will Litton, big strong guy, 6'5". So they've got a lot of size over there that we don't quite have the size that they do or the strength that they do, but one thing that we do well is we share the ball, we play hard, we rebound the ball pretty well, and so we like you said, we play tough competition. We've played some big guys all year, and so I think we'll be a good test for them.
All right. Well, the basketball tournament stuff gets hot quick. Every time you win a game, you're stepping quite a bit up on the ladder in the next round. Basically, night one, half the teams are out of the tournament. Night two, half of the teams that are left out of the tournament. So pretty much 2 out of 3 teams are not playing anymore. What is this? What is this playing on this level, getting these 2 playoff wins do for your program's confidence and kind of recognition for what is an outstanding season you had?
Yeah, so there's only 32 teams left in Class 2A, and we're one of them, right? So that's an accomplishment in itself. But like you said, we get to go play Iowa City-Regina, who's number 3 team in the state, I believe. So getting the opportunity to go play really, really good teams and kind of testing yourself, and that's what you work all season for. And so we're looking forward to that challenge. And you know, after our win the other night, I had a lot of people come up to me, and I know a lot of people that came up to our players and congratulated us on the win. And they enjoy watching us play, and they always compliment me and our team and how we play the right way and share the ball and play hard and do all those little things right, which we try to do. So it's really good for our program to be in a position like this, because we're playing for a district championship. And if I looked at it the other day. I think the last time that Central Lee played in a district championship was 2018, and so it's been a while. But we're trying to put Central Lee basketball on the map and Central Lee athletics, and represent our school really well. So that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Well, we've, on occasion had the opportunity to see Iowa City-Regina. I've got nothing against Iowa City-Regina, but I don't hate it when they lose, especially to a Southeast Iowa team, which we don't. We get once in a while. One of our teams will get up there and put a nick on them, but we see them in the state tournament type stuff about every year and about every sport. Well, we've been talking to Central Lee's Hawks basketball coach, Coach Swanson, in his initial debut appearance here on Round Guy Radio. We're so happy to make the contact with you and give all our listeners there at Central Lee, which we have many, many, many listeners. Our one of our number 2 most listened to game ever on Round Guy Radio was Mediapolis and Central Lee in a district baseball game down in Keosauqua that we had, and that was, boy, a lot of people listened to that game, and it was a great game. You guys have a great baseball team. The football teams seems to be much improved over the last few years, and this basketball team seems to be raising the flag pretty high too. I don't have really any more questions for you, Coach, but is there anything that you want to talk about that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
No, I would just add to it. We've had some successful baseball teams recently. Our golf team went to state last year. They bring pretty much everybody back. Look for another state run in golf, and things are looking up for Central Lee athletics. And we're trying to, like you said, put our basketball team up there and do what we can for Central Lee athletics, because we got a lot of great kids over there, and got a great community and great fans. And so we want to just do our best and represent our community in the right way.
Well, I hope you include me in one of those great fans. I really enjoy Central Lee sports, and there's a little distance between. I live in Richland, and it's a little distance to Donaldson. I guess I did lie to you a little bit. I do have one more question for you. Every coach I talk to tells me playing in Donaldson is one of the toughest places to play. I know Coach. We had Coach Cody Van Fleet, formerly of the West Burlington Falcons, and he took an undefeated team down there, and you almost beat him. He said that there's something about the place that's different. It's tough environment. Why is it so tough to go down to Central Lee and get a win down there?
Well, I'll be honest, our fans in our community, they love basketball. They love supporting our basketball team, and they love Central Lee athletics, and so they come out and support. We're lucky that we have a nice new gym a couple of years ago. that we get to play in, and so we take a lot of pride in the facilities that we have, and we take a lot of pride in protecting home court and playing for Central Lee, and our fans come out. We always have a really good student section that gets the place rocking a little bit, and so and when we play well, they get louder, and so it is a tough place to play. But there's a lot of tough places to play in Southeast Iowa, and
Kind of all of
but
them, I guess.
they are. I mean, you can
You
pick any
you have to
any
get on the bus. It ain't always going to be a super happy night, I guess.
that's right. Yeah, everybody's trying to protect home court, and so that's what we try to do every single night that we step on the floor.
Well, I thank you so much for coming on, and once I got your number and got back with you, you got with me right away, and all you Centrally listeners out there, I'm going to keep this guy's phone number in the book, and we're going to be talking to him this year. We'll talk to him next year. Thank you for all you do for the young man. There's no one ever became a good man without the leadership of other good men. And whether win, lose, or draw, if that's what you're doing, that's what we're all about here at Round Guy Radio. Thank you so much for taking some time with us, and we're wishing you real good luck against Iowa City-Regina. I've got nothing against them, but I like to see them lose. I appreciate it. Thanks for being with us.
All right. Well, thank you, and thank you for all you do to spotlight high school kids and their athletics. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
We appreciate the kind words.